Got something in mind for you and I tonight. Close your eyes for your surprise tonight.
Hey, it is me, Wanda B, and you are listening to the sounds of Frankie Parker. Peace, love, and wine. Peace, love, and wine. Can you hear me better now? You know, I just like to talk. I just start talking. I don't care what a microphone is. Okay, now I'm in front of the microphone. You were listening to the sounds of Frankie Parker. Peace, love, and wine. She's also an intellectual radio host, too. So thank you, Frankie, for allowing me to play your beautiful song. And She Says show. So you can listen to us on YouTube. You can listen on Spreaker. You can watch us on IntellectualRadio.com every week and all our other shows, as well as on iTunes. And then time on our heart, if you missed the show, you can always listen so many different ways. But if you're watching Facebook Live, I appreciate you. Please share the broadcast. Please join in the conversation, because we like to talk to you too when we're here. We like to hear what you guys have to say. You add to our conversations every week, and I so appreciate you all. Okay, so I've also need to shout out some people. It's so funny, like after the show, people will say, you know my cousin, you know my sister and my auntie, and you know my auntie. Okay, so I'm going to shout out all the beautiful relatives of my dear host who always contact me. So Deja Wilson, you said you were going to watch because your auntie be on this show. So hello, Deja. And then Carol Young is going to be Anemia's brought up a topic that she wanted us to talk about. So from our listeners. So always please do go to He Said, She Said Radio. Send us your topics. If you're watching on my government name page, y'all can send me a topic too. I appreciate you all. So what I've done this weekend, fabulous weekend. Y'all know I'm a stepper. Y'all know Valencia stepper. We part of the stepping community. That's what we love. It's our passion and one of our passions. Right. Yeah. And we are dancers. And I went to the world's largest stepping contest. So much fun to see the energy of people coming from all over the United States to share their gifts and talents with us. Detroit was in the house. I think we had some Detroit winners. And then Chicago came back. Chicago came back strong and won. Some of the Tick Man is out there winning. We appreciate the legends of the dance. So it was a fun night. And you guys tell me, how was your weekend? What have you guys been up to? My right-hand man to my left. I'll introduce him first. And y'all to my right-hand man to my left, I got my beautiful Valencia. And then Brian Shine, who brings the shine isms. He gives you the real ish. So we got him in the house. What you guys do this weekend? Sideways. The Facebook. The Facebook. What you do, Earl? What you do? Turn your head sideways. Don't act like y'all don't know how to do that. Turn your head sideways, y'all. Stop acting like y'all brand new at this. Move your phone sideways.
Thank you, Vita, for letting us know.
Thank you. Somebody got our back. Thank you.
Brian hit me. I know you. Somebody commented on it and told us.
Having a glance. Like,
okay.
Is it that one or is it the let's see, super producer was supposed to be handling it for me. You got it. Oh. He got it.
He got it.
Appreciate you. Now I don't think you can see us. Can you see us? Oh, that was the transition point. We coming back, y'all.
It's late.
So, hey, don't leave. I see y'all leaving. We fixed. We back. Don't go nowhere. We here. If you're listening on IntellectualRadio.com, you ain't had that issue. So you've been seeing this the perfect way. So you always, if you're ever having trouble watching us on Facebook Live, please go to IntellectualRadio.com. So our first topic is, Carol wanted to know, where do men suggest women meet men? But she wanted to hear it from the guys, so I'm glad I had two fellas here.
In the bedroom.
You can't meet men in the...
I'm just kidding.
I mean, that's where he wants you to meet him.
No.
Yes, he does.
Where all the magic happens.
So, guys, she wanted to know where is, well, I will give you her exact, she said, Where do men say are the best places to meet women?
Where?
That's what I say.
I mean, it's really no bad place to meet a woman. I mean, you can meet a horrible woman at church. I mean, the mentality of the woman has not as much to do with where you meet the woman. You can meet at a grocery store. You can meet her walking down the street. You can meet at a strip club. That don't mean that she's a bad person. Is you can meet a woman everywhere. There's no like localized place that good women should go to let it be known that
they're not hanging at the grocery stores.
Oh, no, they
a lot of women suggest the grocery
store.
stores.
They go to the grocery store on Roosevelt and Wabash. The Jewel over there. There's some fine women in the house over there.
Which one? You gonna have all
one on Roosevelt and Wabash.
They want to know where you guys hang out.
That's my Trader Joe's across the street, and I did grocery store works.
Foods. I'm with Brian all the way that we would be doing you ladies a great disservice if we start naming a place where you're gonna yourself or even give yourself a better chance of meeting a good man or the right man for you. That just does not exist. The guy Tyson, the comedian, he met his most recent wife at the club. They look happy. I'm rooting for him. I know people who've met people at church and it was a disaster, and anywhere in between. So with that being said, you can meet people anywhere and be successful, and you can meet guys anywhere and have a bad experience. So we can't give you a set place that's going to work out better for you than any other place, because it's really. Now
I actually would like to have actually ask the ladies a question that goes really with this question, because while we can't really tell ladies what's the best place to go to meet men, the real question is, where do you ladies be at when you don't mind being approached? Because I could see you at the library. I could see you at the grocery store. I can see you on the street. And when is it that, when I come and approach you, that's not a bad time. A lot of women always really that I've heard tend to complain about where guys decide to approach them at. So it's like, when is, I'm at the grocery store.
Give me an example of where
they just don't like those guys.
I was just getting ready to say,
if they like the guy,
that's the flip side of if a man is limiting himself on where he's going to meet the woman. That's the same woman that's limiting herself based on when the man approached her.
Okay,
that's
so
just
a circle. It's just a circle.
Yeah.
I think two women should be, when you mention approachable or where is a good place to be approached, I think we also have to walk around being smiling. You may think, I think of women, and you don't have to, but it's very interesting. People will say, I don't meet people places, and they sitting there frowning and their arms across, and they are just not really I don't know if anyone would approach someone or you smile at them and they look at you like, what you looking at? You're like, right. Okay. Well, I mean, maybe sometimes it's being open and leaving the house. I hear people say, where do you meet people? And they don't never go anywhere. Never. They're not going to come knock on your door. So you may need to go out somewhere. Yeah. Just do something.
Now, they waiting on the UPS social media, they waiting on the UPS sitting right there on the couch.
That's true. Online dating, I guess.
People on all these websites and things of that nature, they needing dates.
Someone asked that, do you think they're online dating? If someone asks where's a good place to meet men, do you think that's the same person who online dates, or is that a different?
That would be an assumption.
Possibly. It would be an assumption.
Yeah, it's just a big assumption. They could still be out, but they just maybe don't get approached. And then just like Valencia said, to be honest, everything kind of does go with attractiveness. If the guy finds you attractive, it doesn't matter where he sees you, he'll approach you. If the female finds him attractive, she may be receptive to it. You look or the way you approached it, then it doesn't matter where you met at, she's gonna turn you down.
That makes sense. So I also want to mention, you guys, that tonight, T Bizzle, she's a host here with Chicago Girlfriend, CGF Entertainment. Their show is Tuesdays at 9:00. Tonight, T Bizzle is going to be at Relax Lounge. She has Love Matters is presenting Soul Sessions. It's with T Bizzle and Pharaoh the Wordsmith. It's at Relax Lounge. It's $10 at the door. It's 20901 Western Avenue in Chicago Heights. So tonight, if you don't have anything to do, please go by and support. Fun. She's a hilarious woman, and it sounds like they're also going to have some spoken words. So go out to Relax Lounge. I know some of the barmaids there too. Do they call them barmaids? They're bar stars. I think they have a more like
Depends on
name.
where
So
you at.
ask Keisha to get you a drink. You
Fancier
working
name,
tonight,
Bar Stars.
Keisha?
I'm
Bar
with that. I'm
Stars.
with bartenders being bar stars. I ain't mad at you. I
Yes.
star the bar. My drink is right.
Okay.
Boom. If her drink is right, you really the star.
Oh,
I buy you a
Lord.
drink and the bartender made it right and you love the drink, that scored points for me. So I tip my bartenders well.
All right. So if you see Keisha the bar star when you out there at Relax Lounge 20901 Western Avenue in Chicago Heights, go see T Bizzle. It starts at 7 o'clock. It's from 7 to 10 p.m. tonight.
All right.
So-
That's a good place to meet somebody.
That is a
Tonight
good place.
At the Relax Lounge.
Take
sound like a
yourself
good
out.
spot.
Yes,
Make it
that's
happen.
a very good idea. Yes, take yourself out. Go have some fun. I think sometimes people do have to get comfortable being by themselves and going places by themselves. I have many friends who say, "Oh, girl, I don't have anybody to go with, so I'm not gonna go." Go.
I know
I
people
think
go
you-
out of town by themselves, out the country by themselves. They don't let nothing stop them.
Does that take a comfort level though, or what?
You
What?
gotta like yourself, because a lot of people won't do that.
I'm not
'Cause they
bored.
think they really do think that they would be bored, possibly if they don't
they're-
go with anybody
but
else.
They're the sideline people. Everyone is not. When they're on the sideline, they prefer that person that they can kind of chat with versus, we can go stepping by ourselves. We know it's gonna be some dances there. We don't need anybody to go with us. To see ya, I'm out. So it's a difference, for really the purpose of going out. I think I won't go to the movies by myself.
Not at
No.
all.
I won't go to the movies, and I recently got used to just going to even have lunch and eat lunch out by myself because of where I work. But those are some things. No, I don't enjoy doing by myself.
You would.
No, I wouldn't.
Eat lunch by
Well,
yourself?
I've started doing the lunch.
You
thing,
always
but-
find somebody to eat lunch
But
with.
before I was like stay in a group setting at
Oh,
work
right,
versus
okay.
now I don't really care to do that at work. So I
Wow,
tend to go out.
weirdo. I like myself. I go to lunch with myself.
I don't
all
think
the
it's that
time.
Valencia doesn't
Nothing
like
that-
herself.
No, it's
She's
just
not
those
saying it.
things that I just
I like
prefer
myself
not to
too much.
do.
I mean, lunch and movies to me is different.
What's
like
different?
the movies, like when I go to the movies, happens, I like to turn to the person next to me
You like
and,
the
and
interaction.
and interaction. I don't, I mean, there's been times where I've been with somebody and the next person on the side of me talk, but to go in the movie theater just 100% by myself, that I wouldn't want to do.
Yeah.
I wouldn't want to do
And
that.
I've never done that because usually if I am agreeing to go to the movies, it's because I just like the woman that I'm going to the movies with and don't really care about the movie. There's not too many movies I've seen the preview for. I'm like, that's so good. I'm going to go see that by myself. So I've never been to the movies by myself for that reason.
Movies by myself just for the
I
popcorn.
want to rub on some legs.
I just wanted the popcorn. I left. I didn't even watch the movie.
I want to move that armrest out the middle.
It was cheaper for
Get
you
it
to
out the
go
way.
buy a box of popcorn and
It's
microwave
not
it.
the same. It's not the same.
Yeah.
They got
But I'm
special
addicted
butter.
to
At
the,
that,
they
at the
do. They
movies.
really do.
That popcorn is worth $7 to
It
pay
is.
for the
It
interest
is.
for the
Oh,
film. Go on
don't-
the $5 movie day.
Don't say that. It's gonna be $15. You encourage them.
I
It's
be like,
good,
stop
but y'all need to lower
halfway,
that
let
price.
me put my butter in there and run it back. Put it on there.
Put some more butter. Oh,
I
to
guess I
the,
just-
to the bottom.
I guess
Yeah.
I just don't
I'm
like
going to the movies.
Too
popcorn that much like that.
funny. Hilarious.
You gotta go for the popcorn. Okay, so we're gonna get into I told you about Brian Shine and his isms, and he real-ish. He gives us the real-ish. So one of the topic that he brought to us was, are simp men ruining relationships for women? I didn't know what a simp was. I know it's becoming a word that I hear probably once a week, but I had to look up what a simp is. So the definition of a simp is a man that puts himself in a subservient, submissive position under women in hopes of winning them over without the woman bringing anything to the table.
God, that is such a great definition.
Is it?
As it's
It's
very
Break down the
accurate.
definition
Very
for us.
accurate.
I mean, it's very accurate. I mean, for me, when I was saying simp, well, I have a longer definition, but the easiest way to say it is they call them a simp because they're simple. So what they're attracted to and what they want is so simple. Is nothing deep about it. It's, oh, she's cute, so I'll let her say and do whatever she wants just for me to get in her pants, and it's like, that's very simple minded. So you as a man, it's simple.
It's simple-minded.
Simple, simple. 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 I
I
just
got the
take the
word.
LE. I just
Got
take the LE off. It's a simp. That's
I wonder if that's the origin of where that word comes from. I've been using that probably since the 80s. But I didn't know where the word simp came from. Yeah, it's another word for goofy, sucker, cat and save him, whatever you want to call it.
See, that's the problem. Like, that's more of what I'm used to, what y'all two just said, that we call men simps because we view them as suckers. That's more of how I can relate. Instead of, once again, maybe some people do, because everybody's a sucker on some level. So it's just what we peg it as, and I think sometimes it gets wrongly pegged on men who still choose to their woman in the old-fashioned way. That usually gets turned into being a simp.
So, Brian, why are they ruining relationships? What are simps doing?
Yeah, I want to know.
Okay, well, all right, let's look at it. I'm gonna give an analogy. You got these simps who go and they get these brand new cars. Get a car, they don't keep the upkeep on the car properly, and then now they put this car back on the market, and now a real guy come in. Now this guy don't want to deal with the car now because it's like the it's always overheating. Don't work, so you can't listen to nothing. The seats is all uncomfortable because they got burn marks in them. You ruined something good, and now it's when another man that would have taken better care of this car comes along, now he doesn't want to buy it. And pretty much to say is that when a woman deals with a simp to a certain level of behavior that non-simp men will not accept. So it's like she could be with a better man, but the way that her attitude has become, the things that she's used to doing, maybe cussing him out in public, maybe, just the way she treats him in front of his friends. She's used to the way that do it. So now she get with a dude that he's actually interested in her, but because of the way that she is now, now you missed out on a good guy. And it's not necessarily even, I'm not even going to blame the woman for that, outside of that was her original choice. But you as you're with someone, you kind of get used, and I like to use the word trained, to behave a certain way, because men train women and women train men in a relationship. I don't care how you like the exact term you use, but relationship, I'm training you to do things the way that I like it. And it's going to be the exact reverse. You're training me. If you got that type of woman that don't like you out past midnight, after a while, either you're going to leave her, or you're going to keep doing it, or you're going to fall more in line to what she's trying to get you to do. Same thing. But with a simp, is no training. I won't say that. A simp is giving out nothing but negative training. A simp is a bad parent that lets their kids jump all over the couch, and now when you have that child, you getting mad because now that kid think it could jump on your couch.
Wait. I mean, I'm with you with the metaphor. I like metaphors, and I think you're getting us closer to understanding. Really get it. We need a hardcore example. Have you ever met a woman who clearly in your mind dated a simp before you? And if you did, what problems, real world, real life problems did you encounter in your attempt to build something or make something happen with this woman because she was used to simps?
Okay, that one's hard because I can pick that out quick, and I tend to eliminate a woman like that quickly. But I have I got an example of
red flags, baby. Teach us.
I mean, red flag. Okay, red flag number one has no problem saying to you in front of your male friends first and foremost. That's a huge red flag. If I just start dating, or I've been dating her a while, and you come over to my house and she's quick to just be disrespectful for no reason, like just purposely trying to emasculate me in front of you simply because you're there, flag. And I've seen women that do that.
But is that attributed to
being a simp?
Yeah,
the women I know with the most flip mouth, they got brothers, and they used to talking back and forth crazy with their brother. My sister's like that. She used to talking crazy back and forth with me and my brother, and so if she talked crazy to him like that, the way she did with us, but that's been my experience with that. But not necessarily they had some boyfriend before.
Yeah,
having a flip mouth, talk back, and having a disrespectful mouth when you're talking to your mate. That's apples and oranges to me. That has usually come from another man that has accepted and that's more than just your brother. And honestly, me and my sister, we go back and forth, but she knows where to draw the line at with how she talks, because I don't talk to
well, I mean, when we were little. I don't mean now.
I mean,
we grown, we mature. There's no.
Yeah, but a lot of that stuff. But a lot of that stuff comes more from their interactions with the guys they dated, or with the guys that they in their mind were dating. But this simp dude really didn't have any real deeper plans, more than just, all right, you can say whatever you want, you can do whatever you want, but I'm only really in it for the draws. And then once I get that, it is what it is after that.
But is he a simp then? If he has a motive?
Yes, if you,
to me,
even with a motive, if you give up your self-respect just to hit some draws, you are a simp. You can get what you want and still have a woman respect you. So I'm sorry, even if your only goal is to have sex, is to be, this woman is just disrespecting you and really don't hold any respect for you. I think that's more of a simp.
Before we jump in, though, listen, people saying they want to call in. The number is 708-223-8953. 708-223-8953. Call in, chime in on simps and them ruining a perfectly good woman for the next man.
Tucson said a lot of that interaction comes from the lack of fathers, which is absolutely some simp shit.
You can't say that.
I can't say that. I think I can say shit. No. Well, said
like she gonna repeat it just to double check.
In case.
Okay,
Lord.
Super Producer said I can't say that. Okay, but you're ish. Okay, wait now. I think I somewhat agree that can that always be it may be that is how she has seen and grew up with, how she's seen men be treated by her mother, by whoever, that it may not all come from some guy who the first guy she was with did it, then the second guy, and then they all started allowing her to be flip mouth, and now she's trained to be a flip mouth.
That's just generational simpness. That's all. Just generational. Simp.
Women are simps too.
Oh yeah, but I don't know.
I'm asking. I don't know.
I really don't. I really don't consider a woman to be a simp. I'm sorry. I don't really ever. I don't think I've ever in my life saw a woman or even thought that apply to a woman.
Okay.
I mean, I've seen women get used. I've seen women be a little stupid, but I've never really seen just a simp woman before. But I see more simps nowadays than
Man, one time I went to California and I went to a barbecue with this woman I was dating, and it was an engagement barbecue. And when we got there, she had 10 male cousins, and all of them had larger size Caucasian girlfriends who were clearly paying for everything and just doing anything to be down with their black man and the black family and the black crowd. And so that was those women.
They were simping.
They were simping. I'm talking about simping, and her cousins was pimping.
Simping and pimping, so they go together.
Pimping, baby.
So men are ruining relationships because they're messing up the woman by allowing these women to behave any kind of way and not fixing them straight, and sending them out to date the next man.
They ain't even really trying to. I mean, it's not really in a man's job to really fix them. I mean, they're human. They're not a broken car.
Okay.
But it's not helping them behave the way that they behaving. I mean, just
let me get this caller. Okay. Hi, caller. What's your name and where are you calling from? I got to turn it on first. Okay. Answer the phone first for
button,
you.
Make it green,
thank
baby.
you. Thank you.
On the line where he said, she said, radio. Who is calling in? Hey, Wanda, what's good?
Oh, everything's good. I've met the simple man in my life too that don't. Yeah, I know a lot about that. What's I saying? Much is required.
Yes.
But a lot of women have been given much and haven't been required to do anything. For me, that's a thing.
Maybe I was one time.
Not a simple man. I've seen it.
A simple man? How do you know it? How do you notice the simple man? What makes him simple?
I watch these men cater to these women who have to do nothing. And so the next woman that comes along, they're like, oh, so just to be sitting on the sidelines watching it, you're like, okay, she didn't have to do nothing. All of this for nothing, for putting out nothing, and being treated disrespectfully, like the young man was saying. Respectfully, require nothing but just getting a job to get into the world. Please, really?
Okay.
Most women I know that have a simp.
Thank you, Wanda. We'll keep talking about it. Chime in on Facebook too. We appreciate you. Walanda's part of the He Said, She Said team. We're going to be out at room 183 on Wednesday, the 20th, and we do He Said, She Said live, and the team all come out and we discuss these kind of things. So thank you, Wanda. Okay, so what were you saying?
Most of the women that I know that have a simp, they also have a pimp too. So they treating this one guy like a simp, and they jumping in line for this other guy over here. So I can't say I've seen a scenario where a woman has been ruined by the simp, because when they see a simp, they act in accordance, and apparently when they meet a pimp, they act in accordance.
Well, you know, here's my thing. Like I said, and she sounded like she was going back to what the original definition was, which is what I can more relate to have a conversation about, because I think what he's saying, no one should allow themselves to be disrespected, but I think that's named something else. I'm more familiar with what Wanda was saying.
A man that puts himself in a submissive position under women and hopes that they win him over.
But here's my problem with that. Feel that we have a judgment, that we're still judging someone's relationship. Like she said, if that girl didn't have to do anything visually to you, she didn't have to do anything. You don't know what was important to that man that she was fulfilling. Maybe everything she got, she didn't even want. Maybe this is what he gave to her because that's what he wanted to. And it didn't matter. She didn't need those things and ask for those things. Does she turn it down because it comes with the package with the man who is probably treating her the way she wants to be treated? So too many times we sit back on the sideline and we make judgments about what people have and what they don't have and what someone deserves and what someone shouldn't do. But if it ain't tricking, if you got it, if it's if it's your love language, that's your love language. If that person needs it that way and they getting it that way, who's to judge? Are they both getting fulfilled? Now the disrespect, now to me, I'm totally against that. Whether it's being disrespectful to him because he's giving you all these material things, what's the difference than the woman that's at home that's slaving and holding her guy down and assisting and help paying the bills, and he out in the streets disrespecting her by being with someone else? So disrespect is on all levels. So like I said, if we're gonna call it simps, everybody's simps at some time. If we're gonna call it what
I was
it
just
is.
sitting here asking myself, like that one time when I tried to do the right thing and court and spoil and whatever, was I being a simp?
Definitely disagree with that.
Well, we got Darius. He
it.
says, I think as a society, we have made certain things that men do as simple or soft. Being a gentleman is now looked as being soft. As a society, we have lost our values and what's important in relationships, and I agree. And that's kind of what I was saying. We have turned some of the gentlemen courting, wooing your girl into being a simp, because what is that? That's taking a chance. You're investing and taking a chance that she might not be the one, but that's still part of that. That's still is what some of the traditional, there are some women.
I disagree. It's not the good things that he's doing, it's how she's treating him in return.
Not getting in return.
And it's the type of woman. Usually when guys call another guy a simp and all he's doing is, as y'all ladies see it, is being a gentleman, him really by what he's doing. We judging him by what he's doing to who he's doing it to. Because like if I know this chick had 10 dudes before you, and these dudes didn't have to do nothing to get her a loose square and a pizza puff, and you taking her to Morton Steakhouse every other day, and you trying to wine and dine her, that comes off like, dude, look at what you it's like spending $1,000 on a 1992 Dodge Camry. It's like you over exerting yourself for something that you're not going to get any good return out of.
I still think we are it's still the same thing, but we like to make it seem like it's so much worse when a man is being disrespected. Get upset about women being disrespected. How many times do we sit by? We know our brother, cousin, neighbor is whooping on his girl, is out cheating on his girl, and we don't name the girl anything. It's like that's something she deals with. But if it's a man getting disrespected, now he's weak. Disrespect is wrong, period, on all levels, any levels. And this is what I mean about the conversations that should happen on how to heal it, instead of keep going back and forth on just labeling the name. Now that we label it, how do we heal it? What's the problem? And it's the whole disrespect that is not being addressed within our relationships. And then we shame the men who are experiencing it, so they can't talk about it because it's being shamed. Same way women can't come out and say, I'm being abused, because it's going to be shame. You stupid. Why you stay? You should just leave. Nobody understands the other dynamics. So that's what I mean. We understand all of this. Now, where do we go?
I think a simp is a simp. I don't know that there is any healing for him.
I think there is.
I don't look at a guy who courts a woman or is trying to be good to his woman as a simp. I don't see that at all. If y'all got a good relationship, that woman is good to you, you should be good to her. Make that thing go. That's not a simp to me. A simp is a person who believes that no matter how he's treated or no matter what's going on, he should just try to treat that woman no matter how poorly she's treating him, no matter how much she's disrespecting him. So it's what he's accepting from her, to me, that makes him a simp. It does not make you a simp because you're taking women to fancy dinners. It does not make you a simp because you're buying gifts. It does not make you a simp because you flying women places. None of that makes you a simp, in my humble opinion. A simp is if you're doing all of that and this woman is
in return,
mistreating you, not reciprocating, but
or just using you. I mean, still, I go with the using too.
That they're mistreating you because I remember me and a friend of mine were having brunch at a restaurant, and this woman who we didn't know was sitting at the table talking to her friend, and she was just going in on how she makes this dude jump through all of these hoops and buy all of these things, and all she does is treat him bad, doesn't have sex with him, and doesn't reciprocate anything. I never met that guy, but she certainly was making him sound, I want to do this, I call him. I want to have sex, I call somebody else. I need somebody to buy me something, I call him. I want to go have a really good time, I go with somebody else. I'm bored, I call him.
But that's what I'm saying. That's stupidity across the board, male or female. I don't understand why we got this special name and we're making it like an isolated thing, or the only problem that we really want to talk about, instead of what do you call a woman that does the same thing? Why is that? Why do we make this? Why did this?
She has a name too. She's
we appreciate those women. We're not going to call them
gold digger.
I mean, there's a lot of names for them, but at the same time, this discussion was just
okay.
From our perspective,
as people always tend to say about me, they always say that I come from a point of blaming women. I decided I wanted to talk about something that I blame men for.
Okay.
And really, I think a lot of that is a lot of guys' fault. You know, a woman is going to be a woman, but it's the way she is no different than how men are. The more interaction we come with the way we hunt is becoming that way. Like another analogy I like to use is the weaker the prey, the weaker the predator. So it's vice versa. If the predators keep getting weak, the prey's gonna be weak. If the prey's gonna be weak, the predator get weak. If the antelope just lays down every time a lion walk up, the lion ain't never got to chase it. It can't run a block. You know, so it's the way that we are getting into such a circle, each other weaker, that it's like marriage is gonna really go completely downhill, because we get into a point now where most guys don't care about marriage. Most women think they can do it by themselves, as opposed to back in the day where, you know, marriage was a very important aspect of growing up. That was like a badge of honor to get married, to have children, to own your own home. Now we're getting into this single parent family mindset of that most guys feel like they don't have to be around. Most women feel like they don't need the man. Structure is going to continue to be torn down, and the longer we keep making each other weaker, where are we going to go?
The discussion going in that direction for sure. It's ironic you said that, because I just put up an old post, or resurrected an old post on Facebook that was talking about women who, because they're strong, see the majority of black men as weak. And it stirred up a lot of controversy back then. It stirred up a lot of controversy now, because it made some women look at it as us telling them not to be strong so that men don't feel weak. And that's clearly not what I was saying. I appreciate a strong woman. I value a strong woman. I try to only deal with strong women. But there's a difference between a woman who sees herself as strong and uses that to uplift and empower others, and there's a difference between somebody who feels strong and they use that to try to belittle. That's the dynamic that I was trying to address in that post. And a lot of people commented, including my brother Toussaint, and a lot of women commented as well. But I tried to sum it up in the end, and that it doesn't apply across the board. All strong women aren't trying to look at or make them feel weak, and all strong black women are trying to uplift. So, and the same way the other way around. We see men being misogynistic in rap music and things of that nature all the time, and using their strength, having a little money to downgrade and belittle women and talk down about women, and that's wrong too. So if we want to jump into that discussion, let's get to it.
I see you, Chris. Thank you. I'm going to read your comment. Tyson, thank you. I appreciate you all the time. Everybody that's chiming in, I appreciate your comments. I want you to read Toussaint's as well in a sec. And then Chris said misogyny is real, but we do have a crisis of weak men outnumbering stronger, self-respecting men. So I'd like to talk about that too, as well. But read Toussaint's.
Toussaint said, I know we don't want to hear about racism, but the powerlessness of the black man by the standards of white success makes most black men simps. You have to be special not to be a simp. Simp to me isn't a gentleman, it's being weak, and women by nature test your ability to stand strong.
But Chris said, do we have a crisis of weak men outnumbering the stronger, self-respecting men? Are they outnumbering?
I think so. Because it's easier to be, because if it's easier to be weaker to get the draws. I mean, it just, you know, for a lot, it's more guys that's really not thinking long term. So it's easier to be weak because it's like, okay, well, I know I ain't gonna have it that long. You know, you don't have a lot of guys that really look at it like, you know, everything I do, I'm always trying to test it out for long term. But they feel like because they are only after something for a short term, it's like, well, it doesn't matter. And I see more and more guys doing that. I see they go out in flocks, you know, and that's what they do. I don't go out with a lot of guys anymore because I can't deal with the way that they let women talk. They
let women talk.
I mean, yeah, let women talk. Like a woman ain't finna be. I don't care how much we laughing and joking. You ain't finna be bitch and me the whole night talking like that. None of the night.
It ain't gonna happen. It's just not gonna. But they man, you let her say what she gonna say, man. Let her drink this drink. She can come on to the crib.
Y'all.
No. You know what? Though? Hey, time out. Because y'all, in one way, the way he's describing it, y'all saying y'all not familiar with it, but in the group, agree with whatever y'all say, no matter what. Why? Because they think they score some points with y'all.
Exactly. So it's all about points. It's just like boxing now. Boxing used to be about knocking a person out. Now it's about getting points.
But they're not in the position to train women like that. I think I need you, James Bourget, to explain how the letting, because he got on me about this thing of using that term that we let people do in that, and I don't.
Well, he means that walking. You're not walking away.
You're not checking them. You're not walking away. You're not even being nice about it. Like, hey, don't do that. Don't talk to me like that. You know, you're not putting even a minute amount of I need my respect from you out there. You know, just you. I'm just giggling. I'm giggling.
Women are calling them bees and they giggling.
Yeah, I mean,
well, we do have a problem.
For some people, respect is optional. Is mandatory. I'm a mandatory person, so I'm gonna get out of that situation right away. I might say something the first time they let that wrong word come out, bitch or bitch assness, like whoa, what you doing? But after that, if it continues, I'm gonna leave the fellas over there with them.
Well, that's a thing to me of self-respect, because you shouldn't allow self-respect. Not it doesn't have to do what's coming out of her mouth. You should have your own level of what respect you want for yourself.
And that's the key point. They don't have that. They don't have. It's not that they don't have it. They don't care about it at the moment. And that, to me, that's the biggest thing a simp does, is that they bury their self-respect just to keep her happy. And I'm not cool with that. I done took women home, made them get dressed because this ain't working for me.
Because she called you what? What did she do that put you in the simp field?
I mean, it wasn't. No, I ain't gonna necessarily say she was putting me in a simp field. It was just like it's like an account. It was just a whole night. Like, you know what? I'm tired of your presence. I'm just tired of it. I'm just, from the moment you got in the car till we went to eat till we came back till we almost finna get started. It's just like, I'm just tired of you. I'm just like, I don't even want to go no further. Get dressed. Let's go.
I have a different approach to that.
That sounds personal, right? I mean, that sounds like a thing for that all women are now plagued with this simp disease because you didn't like her.
No, I said, now that was just an example of what I have done. That did not go across the board of all women right there.
Keith said, listen to Keisha too on Fridays. Check him out. Like the page so you can find out when they're coming on Fridays. Keisha said, only thing you can let or allow is how you allow others to treat you or disrespect you. I think that's what you're more in control of, is yourself and what you allow for yourself. And you can't say you're ruining women because you're not checking the women and you letting them do this, and they would fix women if they started checking women. That's how it kind of sounds to me, that you're saying that these men need to start checking these women and fixing this situation.
Well, what are y'all saying?
I'm asking Brian.
Because see, that's the problem with these type of conversations. Certain terms, to look at the overall picture that's being painted, and they concentrate on that word. Like right now,
concentrating and checking in the life.
But women will say all the time, "Oh, girl, you shouldn't let that dude do this."
And I say that's
wrong. And they say, "Oh, when a dude say something disrespectful, oh, you should have checked his butt." So why is it not that I'm saying?
I agree that they're both wrong. That's exactly what we had a show about the other way.
But why is letting and checking is wrong?
No, I'm not talking about.
Make sure I understand.
I'm talking about, can you actually check or change someone, and not the actual word check. And I'm talking about the end results.
Okay, this is
you checking them is to make them stop doing it.
Yeah, now
if you got, or do men need to fix themselves?
They a little bit of both. But at the end of the day, if you got more men who will check,
what I said.
Stop.
A woman is
calling you a B and this. If men start checking women, and let's not get caught up on the word check. Let me change the word check.
If he starts correcting in a violent way, like she about to fight him, like you a B, I'm gonna punch you in your eye.
No, out at the club, and he like y'all be as I keep using
they just
talking stuff. And here with his friends, and he allowing it because he's trying to get to the point of taking her home. So he taking some stuff. So if he is the end result, you are expecting these men to now start checking or saying something back so the women will stop. Do you feel like if men started checking women more often, these women wouldn't behave this way?
The more they start, if they keep losing out on guys, if every guy is not allowing her to do something, guess what?
I agree.
That's changing them. That's just like if I'm used to dealing with a whorish woman, and I start meeting women that, oh no, sweetie, this ain't how that go. And every woman I come across don't behave the way that the women before that first woman behaved was allowing me. Guess what? My approach will eventually change. Because if it doesn't change, then guess what? Now I'm stuck by myself.
No, you can find another one that it's still a
and then you go right into the negative, right?
And that's what he's saying. He's saying if collectively men stop accepting that type of treatment, then those women will have nowhere to go but to be respected.
Oh my God!
And women, why are you saying, "Oh, you got"? Because women say,
if
all women had a standard, they say it would give.
No, but we said women stick together. We didn't say check somebody, check the other woman. When we said we can eliminate the problems from the women's standpoint, we're talking about joining forces as women and saying, no, you're married, you're with someone, you're committed, you're whatever. I'm not going to go there. That's where we say women.
And I'm saying something different.
But you all are saying that men should
become brothers,
check the woman, become brothers and check the woman,
and stop allowing.
Stop allowing.
Y'all, we're going back to that word again.
Let me go back to what I mean.
Y'all running with the word check.
I'm sorry.
I'm not, because that's not what I'm about to say.
Okay,
I'm about to say that I believe that the man who allows a woman to treat him this way will just find another way. Even if he doesn't feel self-respect, it's gonna come out some other way. A man that doesn't doesn't walk around with respect is going to have an issue, whether it's from a woman, whether it's from another man at work. That is going to display itself. It has nothing to do. He can go checking women everywhere, but if you don't require self-respect, somebody else just gonna dog you out somewhere else. If you don't have your own self-respect for yourself, you will be blaming the white man who always do this to me and always do this to me. It'll come out somewhere else. The man that does not have self-respect won't have it with nobody. It ain't just a woman issue.
Actually, he can, because if he gets with a woman that doesn't behave like that, she's not gonna fix it, but she won't necessarily challenge his respect either. Every woman isn't out here trying to challenge the respect or disrespect the man. Just because this man is the way that we're saying this man is, every woman isn't going to take advantage of that. Every woman isn't going to disrespect him at the first time she get. So again, these women tend to have a pattern of behavior that has continued on. The more you do something, it takes twice as long to stop doing something. Depending if you've been doing something for 10 years, it takes you about 20 years to stop.
Chris said, try not to split hairs. And I think we are when we go on to the let and check. That has nothing to do with what we're talking about. The words are not. I agree with splitting hairs over that one. It's all about self-respect. No, you shouldn't try to control another person, but you need to be clear of what you will allow or tolerate for yourself.
And that's checking.
That's
well,
checking.
That's not me. It's all about how you carry yourself. That if you're bumping into disrespectful women on a regular, then you definitely look into the mirror. But any man that carries himself as a man of respect that has never ever in his life encountered a disrespectful woman. He might not have dated her, he might not have ended up in a relationship with her, but I find it hard to believe that there's any man out here that's never encountered a disrespectful
I agree.
woman.
I think you're going to encounter a disrespectful woman, but somebody who enjoys respect for themselves and won't even entertain her.
Exactly. And in the fact of the matter, like I said, you're going to find disrespectful people, period. And it comes from upbringings. It comes from their surroundings. It doesn't necessarily mean that they have been allowed to be.
Obviously, what you just said is exactly, you just kind of contradicted yourself in that one statement.
How?
You said everything you just said is what? A pattern of behavior that has been established over a long period of time. You just pretty much said that they've been allowed from their family as growing up.
Yes, but you have
pattern
said
of
that
behavior that has
man.
been established over a certain period of time.
So what that still is not, I'm not contradicting anything. What I'm saying is you have pegged that behavior to her having a bunch of simple men that she has had all her life that has allowed her to do that, versus it could have been how her whole family, maybe her men, like that with all her life. You don't know. So what I'm saying is you're wrong to peg it
still
as a
men
trail
in her life.
It doesn't.
I mean, but it's still men. It doesn't necessarily have to be men she's dating. These are still men in her life allowing a certain pattern of behavior.
Maybe she learned from them. It's not that they.
Or maybe that maybe his mama treated him that way, and maybe he attracts women who disrespect men because his mama kind of treated him with disrespect, and so it could be some relationship. Yes,
we're still going back to a pattern of behavior.
Pattern of behavior. I agree. It's a pattern of behavior. Either one is a pattern of behavior. Yes. If you do it, you have a pattern, probably a behavior, if you keep running into that. But I guess I'm asking, how do we change that pattern? How does the pattern get fixed? And is it from the other trying to cure the behavior, or is it a behavior that needs to be cured within yourself?
It has to be a behavior, and I think it has to be cured by the family. If you got more women saying how she should behave with her husband, if you got more husbands treating their wives the way that they should in front of their children, maybe all these men would be more stronger. Maybe these women wouldn't be always thinking that you have to fight with your man. I mean, these are things that I think kind of start at home. The same way you just said, maybe that simp his mother to be that particular way. Maybe that girl was let by her brothers or her other men in her life. I feel like if we establish stronger family ties, then a lot of the issues that we tend to talk about a lot would kind of, I'm not going to say they're going to fade away with it, but it won't be as numerous. It's just, we're becoming, just, again, it goes back to that, us making each other weaker. I think if we start making each other stronger, then just certain conversations wouldn't be.
You're listening to He Said, She Said on IntellectualRadio.com, and you guys on Facebook, I appreciate you all that are chiming in. We have been talking about the shineism. I'm going to put this on you.
I'll take the blame. I'll take the blame.
The shineism of our simp men ruining relationships for women. And I think we've kind of brought up the other topic and kind of started putting it in here. And so I'll mention now what that other topic is, our traditional men being labeled simps. So the men that are doing what traditionally taking care of their home, bringing their paychecks and turn it over to their wives, and are they being labeled simps?
By some people, not by everybody, but there's a bunch of memes in rotation right now that's saying that you're texting some woman "Good morning, beautiful," and another guy's texting her saying, wake that ass up. You know what I'm saying? Or spread your legs or send me some new pictures. And so sometimes some people are viewing men as simps, and I think that's incorrect. I think that's a shame, and I don't condone it and I don't endorse it.
As far as me, when it comes to the traditional guys, I know a lot of traditional guys. The only time I would view, or I've seen other guys that's like that get viewed as simps, is really just their choice in the woman. You know, it's like you're putting all of this traditional energy on one that really isn't even appreciating it. You know, this woman doesn't care about your good morning text. This woman don't care about what you're really doing. She just either using you or don't really care about you. You know, you that guy that has been friend zoned, but she treats you like you're not, but you ain't getting any benefits outside of her presence. You know, that's that simp guys, that one that, or some traditional guys, they constantly taking this girl out, but it's like it's not going anywhere. You know, it's really a waste of his time besides him enjoying.
Keish said, simp is universally recognizable. Some women are prone to confront it and speak to a man they recognize as such in that way. Others would never waste space or energy with a simp. The simps and the disrespectful women belong together. They are who the rest of us throw back into the pool. So I think that makes a good point. He's with the perfect woman.
Absolutely.
That's the woman for him.
I mean, it's easy to say that to you.
Not to get off topic, but there's some rich men who pay women.
You did say that.
There's some men who pay women thousands of dollars to publicly humiliate them and.
Well, that's usually privately. No, that's usually private. They usually pay them privately.
No. They pay them to do that to them in publicly. I knew a domination who had a client who throw drinks in his face at the restaurant and mistreat him in front of everybody for whatever reasons.
Mm-hmm. I think any relationship that us judging other people's relationships is always going to be. If they like it, we should get into
that. That's what I say. I ain't trying to change the simps of the world or the disrespectful women in the world. Do your thing.
I don't feel they're ruining relationships either, though. I don't know if
because you have to know what you want. If that's not what you want, then you don't.
So back to the traditional man. Two said, do traditional men exist in mass? Does society even appreciate the traditional man?
Women do a lot. All women do, because that's really what I hear women say. Oh, yeah, they appreciate them. They may not reciprocate it, but they do appreciate all of the stuff that they can use up out of the
appreciation is action.
I can appreciate a television. They bought it.
Okay, well, we said appreciate traditional men.
Which you can't
we didn't say the gifts from the traditional man. We said appreciate
not the gifts. Man. Do we appreciate the traditional?
Some women do. Those
some women
do.
I would say a lot of women.
I
still think a lot.
They appreciate what they're receiving, but not the man.
I think it's some women. I think it's a majority of more women out there that would want a traditional man. Now, the only problem with that. That's the flip side of it.
We said appreciate, not want one.
Well, appreciate. Women still do appreciate. Even outside of the other thing I said, I still think it's more women that appreciate a traditional man.
So the woman then is meeting and calling men all out the names, and they're not the majority then, based on what you're saying.
No, I don't think I ever said that they were.
I'm asking.
Oh, no, I don't think so. They out there, they creeping up, but I definitely don't think they're the majority. I hope not. I don't know. I ain't got no statistics to back that up. So,
Keish asked, and a very good question. What is considered traditional when we say women may not or don't appreciate, or our traditional men being labeled simps? What are they doing? What are the characteristics of a traditional man?
Opening doors, buying flowers, courting, taking to dinner, planning dates, planning trips. They're looking to be a provider, looking to prove to that woman that if they were to get married, that he could provide for her,
Absolutely.
He could protect for her. He's willing to, although I believe that in the past with proclaiming women, with social media, I think it gets the line gets wiggly a little bit on how you proclaim, because it can be looked at as bragging. It can bring hardship onto your relationship depending on how you promote it on social media. So I'm shaky on that one, but ultimately all of those things is really just attempting to prove what type of man he is, and attempting to demonstrate to that woman in almost any way that he can how much he values her. But still respecting himself, though.
So, Brian, in your definition and the definition of a simp, would a traditional man be labeled a simp?
No. Well, again, it still depends. Still variables. I mean, he could be a traditional man, but if you still just, I mean, they tend
not receiving anything in return from the woman, then
you know, I mean, at some point, I feel like a traditional man, I feel like traditional guys wouldn't be even able to be considered a simp, besides somebody just judging them from what they're doing. And or maybe you can judge them from the girl they're choosing to do it for. Not a pattern of behavior of them allowing that woman just to disrespect them. You know, just because you invest in your time and your money and your energy into the wrong person, that doesn't necessarily make you a simp. But it's also the comeback. You know, it's a circle of it. It's just more being thrown out than ever coming back in. Constant basis. I mean, like constant basis. I got a friend that he spends thousands on this chick and can't even get a loose cigarette. I mean, love her to death, and she doesn't care about him an iota. Like, man, you throw your life away for her, and she will move on without batting an eye.
Lakeisha asked a potent question. I'm gonna let you take it first, since this is your topic, Brian. She said, "Do either of the male hosts identify as traditional? Do you identify yourself as a traditional man?
I want to give an honest answer. I think I'm like more like, I want to say 75%. 25% new age, because of just the new age woman.
You
have
to let him go first.
You know, a traditional man, we adapt. So I've learned to adapt to the new prey. I'm a predator.
What have you had to change? That's interesting.
We want to know what you adapt. Wait, let's hear, are you traditional first, and then we go back to
I'm with him that I would consider myself a modern or an evolved. And so at some points in my life, I've met a woman who I felt like I wanted to, and that I could be, and then prove to her the way that I valued her as far as a future. And I would definitely be considered a traditional man. I did everything you could possibly think of, but I can also think of situations where I'm just enjoying being single, and people would say, no, he definitely is not necessarily a traditional man. So
why is it wrong if you do traditional things for a woman who doesn't appreciate it? Why is it not the right woman, and why not just find someone who appreciates your traditional?
No, I'm not always in that place where
what he wants to give. See, that.
So it depends.
Once
on the
again, ding, ding, ding. You know, I always like to tell the women, yes, ding, 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 ding. Ladies, I'm telling you, listen, did you hear what he said? They want to give you that traditional when you are the one. If they ain't trying to do that, he is not looking at you.
I'm trying to tank my dating pool with this ding, ding,
but that may not be his fault.
It may not be his fault. It's nobody's fault at all. It's her fault. But we need to pay attention and listen.
No, everybody's not looking. Every woman is not right this moment. They might at some point want to be courted, but every woman that likes a guy doesn't always want that particular guy to court them. That I meet women in all different types of circumstances and all different types of women. Some women are looking for something different at the time.
I think that's fine then, because you're both on the same page. But there are some women who are with men hoping they're going to turn into this traditional man and give them, they want traditional things from this person who isn't willing. Who's new age, all new age.
And that's just like what the Sims is thinking about too. They think, oh man, if I put enough time and effort into it, then she might turn around and become that traditional woman that I want.
And I'm asking the ladies from you guys' perspective, does a traditional man all out to court every woman that he's interested in?
I think a traditional man makes his motive known. If he's doing this because he wants a wife, then he's probably going to find out if she's interested in that as well before he does that. But I think back in the day, that women to get
it was
married.
A requirement to get a woman.
You wasn't getting no woman without it.
And I think it was not even just to get the woman, but I think back in the day, if you heard a woman say she did not want to get married, she was a Jezebel. Days you don't have to be labeled that not to want to get married. So I think nowadays there's more of do you have the same goal as I do before I give you this traditional stuff.
I think too, traditional men can also pick. Now, like you said back then, no woman was gonna give you anything without staying traditional.
Absolutely.
Now you can stay traditional with the one you really like this way and goes off different with this one, and you can still be a traditional man, and you gonna choose which woman you like enough to be traditional with, and it's on their own selves to determine where they stand in the situation a little bit. I think they'll meet a woman and they're totally traditional, meet another woman and say, I don't want that. And she, like you say, you can meet a woman who don't want it either, and y'all cool. And he could still be traditional, but not be being traditional with this particular woman because she may want it and not be going about it all goofy to try to get it with the wrong person because she sees that he can be traditional. But he starts out on a whole nother idea with her because he don't really want it from her. But she sees he can be traditional, so she's going to try to get it out of him. And that's not what he wants from you.
Exactly. Remember, that goes back to that post we had that we were saying, why do the women, do that? And my response was because women think they see it working there. If I can just swap places, we're going to have that instant thing. But it's about if that man wants
also,
to
let's be clear, because it's not always about how he feels about that woman. At different points in my life, I felt like I was in a place where I could really be a good boyfriend, where I could possibly be a really good husband. And I think that had more to do with how I felt inside and how I felt about where I was at that point in my life on whether or not I was looking to be a traditional man. And there have been other points in my life where just me being totally honest with myself at that moment, I'm probably, no matter how much I like somebody, I'm probably not gonna be or be looking to try to be a husband, and I will warn a woman. I will let her know that I'm just not in that place, and it's not because I didn't value that woman. It's just that's not the place where I was, where I felt like my life was set up, where I wanted to be, where I felt like I was gonna feel good about trying to pursue this woman at that level.
Keish said, and I think it is confusing to some degree for some, but she said, I'm confused. That is fundamental to who I am as a person. It wouldn't fluctuate from person to person or circumstance or to circumstance. But I do think it does for some people, or do you think not?
It does.
For some people, everybody's not the same. So like
Definitely
she said, she's a traditional woman. She said 100%. And so that's her truth and that's her story. But there are some women who want to be courted, want to be pursued, but right now are super focused on their career and super focused on owning their own business. And they might say, you know what, truth be told, I can't commit to making a man my priority right now because my business is my man, my career is my man, and my kids are my top 3 priorities. So I don't want a man making me his #1 priority right now when I know I can at best make him number 5. And so they might say, sometimes I need companionship. Sometimes I want to be able to go out on a date, but I'm not looking.
And then they get 55 and they complaining about loneliness with all that career.
Again, that's true for some.
That's what they really want.
You can't apply how you feel to every single woman. You can't dictate how every single woman feels. Ain't no woman on this earth want to be alone,
baby. I'm just going to tell you. I don't care what she tell you. She don't want to be alone. Like you said, even if her career comes first, the man is not on the list. He's on the list. He's on the list. And when you get into your later years, I don't believe man or female. I just don't think whether
you I
don't care what you like. If you're a man or like a man, whoever you are, in the end, no one wants to really be alone.
To me, why do you have to be alone? How does that relate to being traditional though?
No, right. I think
or it being a priority.
Committed relationships versus traditional.
I said because when they get that time with that attitude, those are the women who you ultimately find, which is why we're
how many women you date?
Yeah, we are. We're having, no, I'm not talking about dating the women, but I hear enough of the men talking about the independent women with their attitudes and the women that are honest that they struggle to allow the man to have the correct role in the relationship, which is causing, because they won't, because they're forcing, they are being so strong that it's overbearing for the man. They don't know how to be the boss at work and come home and turn it down for the man at home. And too many times we have that's the issue. And then we have, back to what Brian said, the breakdown of our families, because now I'm strong enough, I make enough money, I can do it by myself. You still see it in the post. Can a woman raise a man? No, you still get women arguing that they've done a great, outstanding job.
And men too. Some men feel like my mama raised me great.
Exactly, but you still need
some.
Both parties, and at the end of the day, you can raise a great person, but he's still missing something if he did not have a man to look up to or have some part in his life. So that's what I mean by the woman.
Hey, I loved everything you said. Now I got what you were saying. I liked everything you were saying, 'cause that is a big issue. A lot of women don't know how to, and that's even with men though. Some men don't know how to go from the masculine role to the submissive role. You know, and it's like you can't be the boss all the time. And like even with that priority thing that he just brought up, I really hate when people say somebody's supposed to be a number one priority at all times. I really hate that. Like I've seen those memes where they say, who's more important, your wife, your baby mama, your mama? You know, everybody always look at me funny when I said all and none, because I like to call it situational importance. I have a young daughter, I have my 5-year-old son, I have my fiance. At no one time, at any all time, that's all of them going to be number one, and there's no time I'm always going to be number 4. 6, she's my priority at that moment. If my girl got to go to work and she needs to get her stuff together, she's my priority. If something's going on with my son, he's my priority. It's times when I've been working all day, it better be some food on the table when I get home. I need to be the priority. You know, it's situational. I hate when people make it sound like your level is always supposed to be, 1, 2, 3. You know, every situation, your level of priority gonna drop or elevate itself.
Why you call him Ray, Keish? Put Ray as in who? Where Ray come from? Wow, she said I agree with Ray on this.
I'm gonna say, well, I'm Ray Charles.
Well, now, I think there's a joke in that, Ray.
With yourself now, because you said you're 100% traditional woman 100% of the time, and now it can be compartmentalized and circumstantial or situational.
Wait, now I disagree. Now, I don't think that's what she's saying. I think she's agreeing with me as far as maybe what I'm saying, the situation and priority, but her level of what she's going to expect out of a man is not going to change, is what I think she's saying when she's 100%
a traditional woman. Is your expectation of the man, or what's your expectation of yourself?
Behavior. If she's saying she's a traditional woman, if she...
if you say so.
Two said, I say this in love. We're gonna accept it in love. We normalize our sickness rather than seeking cures. What's our sickness?
We talked about this last week. Everybody's crazy, and you got to find somebody's crazy who matches with your. Sometimes I'm in a situation where I know that when I wake up in the morning, top priorities, and romance and reciprocation aren't those things, and it has nothing to do with the woman I met or anything like that. That's just the place where I'm in, because I have some goals outside of romance and relationship that I'm striving for, and sometimes I feel that I have corralled that well enough where I can balance them both, and other times I know it's going to be impossible to balance both. I'm going to upset this woman, I'm going to hurt her feelings with my behavior, and I don't want to do that, and so I make that clear.
Okay, Keish, we understand now. She said, no shade. I thought his name was Ray. I was agreeing with his priority statement. And I think I agree with that too. No, you can't say one person is always going to be, because situations, and hopefully you're dealing with a rational person who knows in this situation with the sick child, I can't stop and leave the baby with the flu because you want to
go back to the simp. Now, simp, like the simp will, she will always be number one. Don't matter about his child, don't matter about his job, don't matter about what he got to do, his kids, nothing. She's gonna make her number one. And again, that's the reason why.
Is she making him, or is he allowing? Let's go back to.
Well, you know what? I want to say that word y'all don't like. First. He letting her.
Well, he shouldn't let her. No one should let someone do something to them that they don't want. But it sounds like he wanted.
He's encouraging it. Tolerating it.
He's letting her do it. So whose fault is it, his or hers?
I mean, it's of course.
Or should we not say fault? But
I mean, that goes back to, like, even when you talk about women who have been in abusive relationships. When they say whose fault is it, it's like you can't. I can never just say, okay, yeah, it's 100% her fault for letting him do it, because at the same time he should have sense enough not to do it. It goes both ways. Just because somebody do let you do something, that don't mean you have to abuse the power that you make. I don't even want to use power.
The freedom. You don't have to.
The freedom. Agree. That makes sense to me.
That makes sense. Being an adult, you can do whatever you want, but I don't mean you should.
So, Keith says, how do you get to the altar or maternity ward with someone who has shown these types of traits? Like, why does the simp man marry the woman that? Because I guess he doesn't recognize it. Does he recognize he's in the abusive role of being of this
he
woman?
Doesn't even see it as abusive.
Maybe he likes it. I guess that's Valencia's point. Is that
I've seen some simps call the other dude weak because he won't tolerate it. Like, you just weak because you don't want to deal with that. Say that before.
I had a conversation with a guy. He's been married for 30 years last week, and I don't even know how we got on this subject, but he said that ultimately, when it boils down to it, the relationship and the marriage is dependent on the man. That it's the man's responsibility no matter what. That the woman can be emotional, she can have a time of the month where she acting crazy, but he has to be steady and he has to be true to himself no matter what relationship. And I agreed with him for the most part, but it also sounded like something a person could misinterpret as, because he's saying that no matter what, he's still going to do no matter what. And I don't know if that's a recipe for
I think I disagree with that. I think the woman is the most important component to a marriage and a home than anything, because at the end of the day, guys
you do?
Yeah, because at the end of the day, women, y'all hold the family together.
He said responsible, not important. He said responsible to it, just so we clear.
You say
he said the man is responsible for the marriage and responsible for the relationship.
So that makes what he do and don't do the most important part.
True.
So that I'm disagreeing with that, and I'm saying that I feel it's the woman that is the most important part, because the woman has the ability to. Most women are the one. Most divorces tend to be women that walked away. Guys will kind of put up with a little. As much as women like to think that y'all are the only ones that put up with stuff,
let Valencia take
guys do. Women tend, when most relationships are really, really over, has made that decision. It's usually when y'all are fed up, as they say, when a woman's fed up. When y'all get that fed up, that's when that relationship.
But that term comes from the woman has gave you a million times where the man would not have stayed around as long and go through what women accept from men. That's where the woman fed up, because by the time we walk, we fed up because we done heard your story 11 times.
But at the same time, even with that situation, men go through a lot with women too.
I'm not saying that they don't, but when you say that women are the one to go to divorce, that's because men far stretch out the
tolerance.
Yeah, absolutely, farther than women, and far so because we accept more than you guys accept.
So that goes back to my point of that y'all will hold us together a lot longer. It's up to us.
If we keep accepting the,
I'm just saying, even if you keep accepting
it, is that what he's saying?
Even if you keep accepting it, even if we get time to realize, like, oh my God, what am I doing to her? Let me correct myself. It's more time involved. Y'all will hold a family together. I mean, that's just me. That, like I said, that's my personal opinion. I feel like women are the concrete. I feel like women are the concrete, and the men got to be
treated right. We're not saying they're being treated correctly in the way they should be treated.
Because I feel like if putting the responsibility on what is supposed to be the weaker vessel in the relationship.
And why does the woman have to be the weaker vessel?
Because let's at the end of the day, I'll let the women that's strong and can stand strong along fine. I am the weaker vessel with the man. I am the emotional creature, which makes me a weaker vessel. I need the stability of the man. I need his leadership. I need his protection. So to comfort me in my emotions, for me to continue to be strong.
How does that work with the bullying, though?
It's a cool bully way. It's like
this is a cool bully.
Because here's the deal. So many people forget that in order to have to be a king, you need a queen. And there are roles that are involved in this. And if you go back and any time where the only person that could calm the king or get him ready to rage for war would be his queen. And that's a dynamic that we get away from.
The bullying fits in,
because when the queen wants something, she doesn't demand it, but she does it in a way that makes that he sees this uncomfortable.
I don't like that. I don't like that.
And so when he recognizes this uncomfortable behavior, he has to correct his queen's behavior. Like I said, everybody don't get that deep and into the
to me it's on the man.
The man is supposed to be the one. I was told by someone that, and it was by a man who held his marriage together. He said the only way that a marriage is going to make it all the way to the end if the husband loves his wife more. More in line with what you just said, the gentleman shared with you. And that's because when a man is loving a woman, loyalty is just so there that if he's loving her more, he's got that. But what we need to shield from is him going out into the world and being able to conquer the temptation and the struggles of the day-to-day work to be able to come home and provide and protect and know that he can come home and be vulnerable and say that he fears and what he's worried about. That man is the piece. And we keep on saying that women are the glue. Yes, we're the glue, but we had to be the glue through the circumstances which Toussaint said, slavery. We were not intended to be the glue. We were forced to be the glue. So stop telling us that we need to be the glue, but we need to not be so hard. You know, what is it? What should we be?
Okay, but
I don't think that's
what he was
responsible
saying.
because the man is the person who ultimately makes the decision to court, the person who makes the decision to propose.
Okay.
And ultimately, when he gets in a relationship, he's supposed to lead the way.
So
and
how
so
is
he's
the
saying the
woman-
responsibility is on the guy. That's what I'm saying.
I said the woman.
No, I said the woman. I said the woman is
I'm not saying Brown. I'm talking about the gentleman.
I was talking about him.
I'm talking about the glue, and I'm disagreeing
because
as far as the woman
woman
saying that she's the weaker vessel, because honestly, both that's the dynamic that we really don't understand, is that yes, the woman is weak in certain aspects, but she's got to be strong in other aspects too. And as a relationship, it's times where I'm going to be weak, and I need you to be strong, and it's a back and forth.
Talked about that too.
That's common. That's automatic. That there's
Yes.
going to be times that's the whole thing. But when we're talking about man and woman, not situational, weak and strong, because I've been there. Yes, I got you. You down, I got you. You need this, I got you. So there's no problem with that. That's all in plan. That's part of being the queen. Like I said, there's the roles. But if we're talking about who is the stronger vessel, why were we so in an uproar about having a female president? Because we like, oh no, not a woman in that position. She's too emotional. She's a weaker vessel. She's going to allow A, B, C. Let's just be real and call it what it is. It's not a bad thing. It is.
But it's not. It's certain guys that we wouldn't want in that position either, because they got
The one that's in there.
You know,
I probably
exactly.
wouldn't
Weak
use,
sauce.
So
the word weaker. I probably would say emotional, that we respond emotional, but not
emotional. It doesn't make you
emotion.
the weaker.
Exactly.
Well,
I don't
both Lakeisha
consider.
and Toussaint.
Yeah, I don't
have to
use
read
that word
their
weaker.
full comments, but they said we're weak either.
It's not the
one is
weaker.
stronger,
It's we're more
less strong, not weak at all.
If anything,
Nobody-
I say men are more
So
logical,
that's
while
like
women
a
are
over
emotional.
hairs than over what.
Right,
But I don't. I feel for me, it's not a thing that she's less than. Because when I hear weaker in my head, I think less than. You don't have the capabilities of. I think we respond as women more emotionally, which then has a different result, which isn't always the favorable result when we respond more emotional, and men have that talent of not being emotional. But we definitely have other talents that they don't have, which makes our yin and yang kind of. So, Keish, what do you say? Even men who are the sole providers in their homes, women dictate how the family moves most times. She chooses what her family eats, medical care, child care. Women are probably actually doing more of the kind of, I don't know.
Taking care of the family?
It's the role. They do,
Is it-
but
it's
that's
the roles.
because
It's
of
the
the
roles.
king has entrusted her to do that, and he wants to keep it going, so he knows that that's what makes her happy. Now let her make the wrong choice. And see, don't he, a real man, gonna stand up and say, babe, okay, I know you said let's go with Aetna, but Blue Cross Blue Shield got the
But
better.
that's the difference of the simp man and the
Exactly
traditional
what I'm
man. Because
saying.
the simp
So
man
that's-
will be whatever you say.
Exactly. So my point is
Maybe.
still
But
that
you need
the
a strong.
women
But you
are
need a.
making
But you need a strong woman to delegate these roles. If I got a strong woman, it's certain stuff that okay, I don't have to. I got enough on my plate that I'm thinking about right here. I know certain stuff is taken care of. You know, like I might forget. Oh man, did you get the physical for the kids done? I already took care of that. You know, the way that I just don't like the way that as far as the having to dictate certain things. It's just we know our roles, we know what we need to do. A strong woman she know if my main thing is the working and the keeping the house fixed and cleaned, and you know what your roles are because you know what you're strong at. My girl, she don't wash cars, I wash cars. That's my job. She don't take out the trash. That's my job. She cooks more than me, but do I cook if she work? Yes. because I have to make sure that my children eat. When she gets home, she needs a hot meal. You know, does that make me weaker than her that day because I cook? No. So why does that make her weaker than me when she cooks?
I didn't say it.
But I know we went to the best.
I wasn't talking
what
about
makes the woman
like
weaker when you say
just
women
as
are
far
weaker?
as the as period.
Just we can't lift as much as the man.
It's just
well,
it's the
define
vessels.
vessels,
I mean,
maybe.
as a
'Cause-
woman and a man, we're not created equal, and I think the man was made a little bit stronger
physically, but y'all can
than
take more
physically.
pain.
Wait, let's go
And
back.
y'all
So
smarter.
many people say women are smarter than men.
I
mean,
agree.
if they say that, how are we weaker? I'm just asking because
I don't say that y'all weaker.
I say
hear
that y'all
that
smart.
often. I
do.
think it's a statistic. I can go. I have to go to Google and look this up. But that women are. Well, how James Borchardt mentioned it to me once when he was mentioning women being. He said, "Well, think about the second model of anything you make. It gets better. So if God made man first, then." Usually it's going to have some little upkeep. You see what kind of you needed to add to the second version that you may add to the second version. So do you all agree or disagree that when
the average woman can dance circles around a man mentally. The only thing that evens it out somewhat is because normally we're physically stronger, and the emotional aspect sometimes will interfere with a woman's ability to be intelligent because her emotions are telling her something that's not so smart to do. But other than that, hands down, smarter than men, if you ask me. I say it in jest, but I'm actually serious. Probably the dumbest woman on earth in some ways is smarter than me, and I'm a pretty smart guy.
But so I guess maybe we're trying to define what is weak. What when you said what is weak, but let me go to some of the comments. How do we define strong, independent, and strong aren't? How do we define strong? Independent and strong are not synonymous.
But it shouldn't be, but unfortunately, that's what we make it, and that's what I mean. You can be independent, you can do all the things in the world, but that emotional aspect of a woman is what I would say makes us a little weaker, because we will fold under emotions without the logic thinking that men usually have the logical thinking.
The balance, I think, yes, Keisha, I totally agree. Truthfully, we all have male-female energies and gifts. Balance is key, which is why each of us has to know when to concede or compromise in relationships, and I think that is huge. And then you also mentioned that so many people, I don't think, know what a healthy, the traditional, what that even looks like to really try to have it themselves. Have they had it themselves? Do they even know what that relationship looks like to seek it out for themselves?
Agreed. That is one of the biggest questions that I am asking right now. Like, what is a healthy relationship to you? What does a healthy relationship look like to you? And I think that's an important question that people should ask each other, right from the beginning, because it'll give them a sense of what that final destination is, and not just going by these titles. Because when one person says traditional, another person says traditional, they don't always mean the same thing. Toussaint Werner says, how do we make a blanket statement like women are smarter than men? LOL, are fish smarter than dogs? What the hell? So all I can do is speak about my experience.
I don't know.
I love stimulating conversation. I try to get men's perspectives. I try to get women's perspectives, and I'm in my experience. So I can't say, because I haven't met every man and woman in the world.
Right.
I haven't had a conversation with all of them. But in my experience, women have a lot more to contribute to stimulating conversation than men. Some men that I end up around, sports and boxing, and if you try to really engage them on a deeper level about some of these subjects we're talking about right now, it doesn't happen. And in fact, even dealing with this radio show, that it's much easier to get women to come on this radio show than it is to get men. And I think the reason is because some men are concerned about how intelligent or unintelligent they may be looked when they get challenged on some of the things they're saying out of their mouth on this radio show with that camera going. That's just my humble opinion.
Please, I am never, if y'all ever learn something about me, I'm never, ever going to say everybody is the same, ever. We all think differently. I don't know every smart woman. I don't know every dumb man. I'm not generalizing it to that degree. I'm really just going with some of the things I've read. But I think that we all can be men and women and have totally different experiences and be different people. That's what y'all do. Anyone does in their own. But I do have a real passion. What I'd like to see is us try to communicate and learn from each other and about each other so we can build healthier relationships. If we don't know what traditional looks like for ourselves, or being a simp, or recognize something that is if you want a different result. If you have a woman that's dogging you out and she don't ever compliment you, you do all these things for her and she don't recognize it, maybe, and you don't like it. Now, if you like it, fine. You're in the perfect relationship. If you love spending all your dimes on her and she don't ever say, then you're in the perfect relationship. But if you want something different for yourself and you saying this, I'm not happy, then maybe it's time to take some self-reflection and say, I'm not happy. I'm not getting the results I want. So maybe I need to stop simping.
And that's what basically I was going to say. If a healthy relationship is simply knowing what you want, being honest with what you want, and that's what goes back to we touched on the last show. What are those initial conversations about? Why are we saving this important stuff? I need to know today if I need to call you back tomorrow. I don't need to find out 2 weeks from now and let's ease in here. No, let's go in. Let's talk about some important stuff. I don't want to catch up on love and hip hop. I don't want to know what year, brand, what's horsepower in your car. I don't want to know that kind of stuff, So if we have those important conversations in the beginning, maybe we can get to the healthier thing. And it's really by transparency, honesty, and self-reflection.
The comic relief in this is Tucson said, I don't want independence. I want a whole harem working on my behalf.
I hope you get it. Tell your wife
is my ability to unify. Bruh,
the married man.
We gotta go grab a drink or something, man. I gotta hear more detail about this. We can't just
have no harem.
Paraphrase comments.
And he not get one either. I'm sure your wife's ego won't allow that.
You're relieving me of my guilt. I believe the teamwork makes the dream work. God bless.
I think teamwork makes the dream work, just maybe not in relationships.
What? Voltron, you got to come together.
I don't even know who Voltron is.
It works for some.
No, not.
Everybody's different. It does work for some.
Yeah, I'm going to say it works for everybody. It's different.
Chris said, Western thinking says logic is superior to emotions. False. It's yin and yang. They are equally important. And I do just totally agree. We do need balance. Everything in life, if one person is giving too much of anything, somebody's not going to be happy. Maybe they are. Maybe they are. If you're happy, that's fine. But if you're unhappy because, then maybe it's time to do something different.
Relationship you like, though. Like you got, like you say, some people like an off-balance relationship.
Then if they're happy, that's what I said. If they're happy, then no problem. If you're unhappy,
as long as you can be healthy in a relationship, it doesn't have, you don't have to fall into the traditional sense of a relationship. It's really when you have one or both people unhappy that's the issue. That's when it's a problem. But if both people are 100% happy with it, then that's you. Like with my simp friends, I'm gonna say what I'm gonna say. Yeah, they watching me right now. I'm gonna let them know.
Friend in college. I don't have none now.
I'm gonna let them know. As long as you happy, cool. But just know that the energy that y'all putting out is, I just don't want to be around that. I don't want to get infected. I don't want my girl over there. She mess around and catch a cold, and now she start disrespecting me from being around that energy. So that's like a virus. That's the S virus. It's a simp virus out there. I don't want to catch that.
Please know what comes out of Brian Shine's mouth is not the reflection of intellectual radio. She said they are all Shineisms, and they may be coming to a show near you. You can get all the real ish from him. Stop simping. That's his
t-shirt.
Stop
order
simping.
T-shirts.
I was gonna wear my B Shine is always right shirt.
This discussion.
You all, I really would like for you to come out next Wednesday when we do He Said, She Said live. We're going to be at room 183. That's at 4167 West 83rd Street in Country Club Hills. So come out. We're going to be there at 8 o'clock till midnight. And the topic that day will be, who is to blame when someone cheats? The cheater, the cheatee, or the side piece? So, or all three. I know. It's gonna be a good discussion. We're gonna have some cocktails, conversations. We play games. We got the big old Uno. We have a good time. So please come out next Wednesday, 8 o'clock, room 183. Also tonight, if you want to check out T Bizzle and Pharaoh the Wordsmith, they're going to be a relax. Hopefully Keish, the bar star, will be there. Tell Keisha I said hello and order. If she has a lemon drop, ask for her drink, her special drink. And that is Soul Sessions Relax Lounge. It is at 20901 Western Avenue, Chicago Heights. And thank you to the ladies of the Sugar Shop for my lip gloss. My lips are popping. I say so myself. I thank you guys. The lipstick from the Sugar Shop Cosmetics. Check them out. And I want you to hear from my team, guys. How can people reach you if they'd like to reach out to you?
My government name and Yatu Marvel, Nyatu, last name Marvel, Marvel. On Instagram, I'm Marvelous since 1974. That's since SINCE 1974, and no point in bringing up Twitter.
I'm on Facebook, Valencia Jackson, and I come out to the live next Wednesday.
I'm Brian Shine. You can catch me on Facebook at Brian Shine. You can catch me on Instagram at Brian.Shine. And I'm still trying to get it together, but you will be catching me on here on the Real Ish of the Day very shortly. And any hate mail, please send it to Valencia or Wanda at their email addresses. We will post that later.
Does anyone identify as a simp? They're still talking about this. So we're going to come back and join you on Facebook. I appreciate everybody who chimes in on Facebook every week. Tucson Keish today. Chris, thank you so much, my stepping brother. Everyone else who was on. Darius, I can't see all the names, but I saw you. I appreciate you. We'll be reaching out to you and commenting. I appreciate you. Reach me on Facebook, Wanda B, like the B. Then we have a group, he said, she said. Join the group. We talk about these stuff all week long. We love to do it. We chat, we have a good time, and we learn from each other, which is most important to me. And you're still listening to the sounds right now in the background of Peace, Love, and Wine. Get the Frankie Parker song from iTunes. I did. You'll love her whole album. She's also out at Red Star Cocktail Lounge once a month in Richmond Park. So go out there and hear Frankie Parker. And then what I got coming up for you today at Intellectual Radio, we got Jaw Jacking with the boys, Bob and TC. I love my boys. They'll be here at 4 o'clock. And after that, the Voices of Change at 7 o'clock. Side Streets and Intersections is back. She's had her been out for a while, so it's good to have her. Lady T, praying for you and your time. Appreciate you. But keep listening to IntellectualRadio.com. We have loads of shows coming up today. I would love for you to keep tuning in. And I would love for you to come back next week to the same place. We're going to be here the same time we are every week, 2 p.m. on Sundays. He said, she said on IntellectualRadio.com. See you next week.
Uh-oh.